The outcast, he floated in the cold darkness of space, alone. Her pod was silent. No signals, no light, no sound. Just the endless stars watching her. She had no name anymore. They erased it when they cast her out. She belonged to a powerful alien race called the Zarkari. They were tall, fast, and emotionless. For centuries, they ruled over many star systems. They believed emotions made people weak. But she was born different. As a child, she cried when others felt pain. She smiled when she saw beauty. She asked too many questions. The elders called her broken. At age 15, she was locked in a mind room. They tried to reprogram her brain, remove her feelings, make her cold, like them, but it didn't work. So they made a decision. Exile. They placed her in a small pod, programmed to drift into a dead zone of space. No one would find her there. She would die, alone. But fate had other plans. On Earth, deep in a science lab hidden under the mountains, a signal was picked up. Weak. Fading. Unknown tech. Something's out there, a young scientist whispered. Earth had only just started exploring deeper space. Contact with aliens was still rare. But the signal was real. A rescue team was sent. They followed the signal. Days passed. Finally, they saw the pod, floating like a lost tear in the sky. They pulled it in. When the door opened, the team stepped back. Inside was a girl, not human, with silver skin, glowing blue eyes, and strange symbols on her arms. She looked weak, broken, but she was alive. They took her to the lab, ran tests, scanned her body. She's not from any known race, the lead doctor said, but she's stable, breathing, almost like us. She woke up after 3 days. The lights hurt her eyes. The voices confused her. But one thing was clear. These people were not like the Zarkari. They didn't fear emotions. They welcomed them. Nurse gave her water, smiled. She tried to smile back. It was hard. Her face wasn't used to it. The scientists called her Nova, a name meaning new. She was given a small room, soft bed, warm food. Every day, someone came to talk to her. Ask her things. Teach her words. Show her pictures. Why did your people leave you? They asked. She looked away. Because I felt too much, she said quietly. The humans didn't laugh. They didn't punish. They listened. Slowly she began to understand Earth, its people, their kindness, their pain. She saw a child crying in the hallway one day. She sat beside him, gave him her food. He smiled. Something warm filled her chest. Was this what her kind feared? Then one night, the alarms rang. Red lights flashed. Soldiers ran through the halls. What's happening? Nova asked. We're under attack, the commander said. Unknown ships, advanced weapons. We're trying to hold them off. She ran to a screen, saw the ships. Her heart stopped. They were Zarkari. Her own kind had followed the signal, not to rescue her, but to destroy. They don't want you back, the scientist said. They want to erase you. Nova looked at her hands, shaking, confused, afraid. Let me help, she said. No, the commander said. You're not trained. You're not ready. Nova's eyes glowed brighter. I was made for war, she said. I just never had a reason to fight until now. The screen showed the ships getting closer. Explosions lit up the sky. She stepped forward. If they want a weapon, she whispered, I'll show them what one looks like. Learning to feel, the sky burned the night she stepped outside. Nova stood at the edge of the military base, her eyes fixed on the fire trails in the sky. Alien ships, her kind, the Zarkari. They were coming, and they wouldn't stop until everything was silent. Dead. But Earth wasn't ready for this war. She had been on Earth only 3 months. In that time, she had learned how to smile, how to speak, how to feel, but not how to fight with heart, not like humans did. And now, humanity needed her. You can't stop them, the commander said again, standing behind her. You're still recovering. We don't know your full powers. Nova didn't turn around. I know one thing, she said. They're afraid of what I might become. 2 days earlier, Nova had her first nightmare. She dreamed of her home planet, silver skies, quiet cities, and empty eyes. She saw her mother's face. Beautiful, distant, cold. You feel too much, her mother had told her in the dream. That makes you dangerous. Nova woke up, sweating. For the first time in her life, she had cried in her sleep. A soft voice pulled her from the memory. You okay? It was Lena, a human girl, maybe 17, working in the lab. She was assigned to help Nova understand Earth culture. Nova nodded slowly. Bad dream, Lena smiled. Welcome to being human. Nova tilted her head. Dreams mean I'm human? No, Lena laughed. Feeling them does. Nova didn't understand all of it, but she liked talking to Lena. Unlike the scientists, Lena didn't ask about alien tech or powers. She just sat and talked about music, movies, and memories. Real, messy things. But peace didn't last long. That evening, the base caught a transmission, encrypted, fast, in a strange signal. It took hours to decode, but when it was done, Nova went pale. It's a message from the Zarkari. High Command, she said. They know I'm alive, and they're sending a destroyer-class ship. Why now? The commander asked. What do they want with you? Nova looked down, her voice low. They want to erase the proof that one of their own chose emotions over control. Earth, scientists wanted to study her powers. But Nova refused to be treated like a lab rat. Instead, she asked to train. Train how? A soldier asked. Let me fight like you do, she said. Not just with strength, but with purpose. They were unsure, but they agreed. Under tight watch, every day she trained with soldiers. Strength, training, hand-to-hand combat, weapon drills. She was faster and stronger than any human, but she lacked something. Instinct. She hesitated. You pull your punches, said Captain Ramirez, her trainer. Why? Nova stared at her hands. Because I'm afraid of what I'll become if I stop. Ramirez didn't smile, but she nodded. Then learn to become something better. One night, the base was breached. A small Zarkari scout ship broke the defense wall. Chaos erupted. Alarms, gunshots, people screaming. Nova ran toward the sound. She saw soldiers pinned behind cover, wounded. A Zarkari drone marched forward, laser arm charging. Nova didn't think. She jumped between the drone and the humans, catching the laser blast with her bare hand. Pain exploded through her arm. But she didn't fall. She looked at the drone. You left me to die, she said. Now watch what I've become. She tore it apart with her bare hands, blood on her skin, smoke in the air, screams behind her, and Nova was shaking. Not from pain, from rage. This is what they made me, she whispered. But Earth is what's changing me. The next morning, Nova sat in silence, staring at her burned hand. Lena came in holding a blanket and tea. You saved 8 people, Lena said gently. Nova didn't speak. You okay? Lena asked. Nova looked at her. I didn't feel like a weapon last night. I felt alive. Lena smiled. Welcome to being one of us. Later that day, Nova was taken to the command room. The generals looked grim. We intercepted another message, one said. They're not just coming for you now, they're coming for us. Nova's eyes locked on the screen. A massive fleet, Zarkari warships, 10 times stronger than anything Earth had. What do we do? The commander asked. Nova stood tall. No fear, no doubt. You teach me everything you know, she said. And then, I teach them everything they fear. The secret weapon, the room was silent. Nova stood in the center, surrounded by Earth's top military minds. Maps flickered on digital walls. Red dots moved closer. Alien fleets, Zarkari warships. Thousands of lives at risk. She didn't blink. They will be here in 6 days, General O'Connor said. If we don't stop them before they enter orbit, Earth is finished. The others looked at Nova. They were afraid of her. But now, they feared something more. Losing. We need a miracle, the general said. Or a weapon they've never seen before. Nova stepped forward. Then stop calling me a guest. Train me like a soldier. Training began before sunrise. Nova moved through obstacle courses, ran combat drills, and learned how human weapons worked. Her strength made her dangerous. Her speed was unmatched. But what surprised the soldiers was her focus. She learns fast, Captain Ramirez told the command team. She doesn't act like a soldier. She acts like someone who's already been at war. But Nova wasn't just learning how to fight. She was learning why humans fought. In the cafeteria, she watched soldiers laugh despite the danger. On the training field, she saw one man give up his water to another. Kindness in chaos. Courage without reason. Why do they do that? She asked Lena one day. Why care about others when you could just survive alone? Lena smiled. Because that's what makes us human. Nova said nothing, but inside something shifted. On day 4, Nova joined her first field mission. A small human colony on Mars 3 had gone silent. The last message showed alien drones in the sky. 4 soldiers were sent to investigate. Nova went with them. What they found was horror. Buildings burned. Dust filled the air, people hiding underground. And among the ruins, a Zarkari scout. Nova recognized the armor immediately. She stepped closer, heart pounding. You're not supposed to be here, she said in her native tongue. The scout turned and froze. Nova, he dropped his weapon, took a step forward. You're alive? Nova's hands clenched. You left me. All of you. You don't understand, he said. You were a threat to the high command. Your mind, your emotions, were unpredictable. They feared what you could become. Nova stepped closer, eyes glowing, faintly. And now? The scout hesitated. Now they fear what you already are. Before she could speak again, shots rang out. The soldiers behind her had opened fire. The scout fell to the ground, injured but alive. He's not dead, Ramirez said. Bring him in, we'll question him. Nova turned away, but her mind raced. They feared her. Even then. Back at base, Nova watched the interrogation. The Zarkari scout spoke calmly, like emotion was a disease. She is a mistake, he told the humans. A broken experiment. Do not trust her. The human commander leaned in. But you do. I saw it in your face. The scout said nothing. Later that night, Nova sat alone, staring at the stars. She didn't notice Lena approach. You okay? Lena asked softly. Nova shook her head. They're right to fear me. I don't know what I am anymore. Lena sat beside her. You're not a weapon, she said. You're a choice. You can choose who you become. Nova looked at her. What if I choose wrong? Then choose again. The next day, Nova led a small team to defend an outpost on Europa. Zarkari drones attacked at dawn. The soldiers panicked. Nova didn't. She moved like a shadow, destroyed the enemy one by one, protected the weak, shielded a wounded man with her own body. The battle lasted 7 minutes. When it ended, the sky was quiet again. The team stared at her, breathless. What are you? One whispered. Nova looked down at her burned hands. Her voice was calm. I'm what happens when fear is left behind. Back at base, the generals held a vote. The result was clear. We're activating Project Blackstar, General O'Connor said. Nova is no longer a guest. She's our asset, our front line, our secret weapon. They gave her new armor, part human tech, part alien design, faster, stronger, deadly. Nova looked at herself in the mirror. Not alien, not human, something in between, something new. But just as things settled, a warning came through. Earth's defense satellites picked up a massive energy spike, not from the fleet, but from deep space. A weapon, unknown class, size of a city. What is that? Ramirez asked, eyes wide. Nova stared at the readings. Her voice was hollow. It's not a ship, she whispered. It's a cleansing unit. The Zarkari only send it when they want to erase a species. How long before it gets here? Nova looked at the countdown. 3 days. The room fell silent. Earth wasn't fighting for survival anymore. Earth was fighting for existence. Nova stepped forward. Then we stop waiting, she said. We take the fight to them. The betrayal. The stars felt colder that night. Nova stood alone at the edge of the observation deck, staring into space. Her new armor shimmered under the dim light. Her hands, once trembling, now steady, rested on the rail. But her heart? That was not steady at all. 3 days left. The cleansing unit was coming, and Nova couldn't stop thinking. Why now? Why did her people suddenly send the most powerful weapon in their arsenal after so many years of silence? Something didn't add up. Earlier that day, she was summoned by the commander. We've finished questioning the Zarkari prisoner, General O'Connor said, looking tired. He asked to speak to you, alone. Nova's eyes narrowed. What does he want? He said he has a message. Not for us, for you. The cell was dark and cold. The Zarkari scout sat in silence, hands cuffed, eyes glowing faintly under the low light. As Nova entered, he looked up and smiled. You wear their colors now, he said. How far you've fallen. Nova didn't respond. She just stared. What's your message? He leaned forward. You don't remember the truth, but you will soon. Nova frowned. What truth? You weren't exiled because you felt too much. You were exiled because you knew too much. Nova stepped closer, heart pounding. You're lying. He tilted his head. Am I? Think. You were only a child, but you heard something. A secret. Something the High Command buried. And for that, they tried to erase you. Her breath caught. Suddenly, memories began to flicker. Faint flashes she never understood before. A dark room. 2 elders speaking in whispers. The words, the humans, they must never know the truth. Nova staggered back. What truth? The scout smiled. You're not the weapon, Nova. Humanity is. That night, Nova couldn't sleep. Her mind kept repeating those words. You knew too much. She accessed the base records, dug through classified files, bypassed lock systems using alien codes only she could read. And then, she found it. A file. Hidden deep. Marked with her name. It wasn't created by humans. It was left by her own people. The message was over a decade old. A log. A voice recording. Her mother's voice. If Project Nova fails, we'll use the humans instead. Their species evolves too fast. Their emotions are unpredictable, dangerous. They must never be allowed to unite. If she learns this, eliminate her. Nova froze. She had been part of something bigger, an experiment, a weapon project, and the worst part, her people weren't scared of humans because they were weak. They feared them because they were stronger than anyone imagined. The next morning, Nova stormed into the command room. You knew, she said, voice like ice. You had my file. You saw the message. The commanders looked at each other. We didn't hide it, General O'Connor said slowly. We didn't know how to tell you. We found it days ago, but what? Nova shouted. You wanted to use me, didn't you? Just like they did. Ramirez stepped forward. No, we trusted you, but we didn't know if you'd still trust us. Nova's voice broke. I came here to escape being a weapon, not to become another one. Nova walked out, heart shattered, confused, angry. For the first time since she arrived on Earth, she didn't know where she belonged. Was she Zarkari? Was she human? Was she a mistake, or was she something else? Hours passed. She sat alone in the hangar, staring at the stars. Lena found her there. You found something, didn't you? Lena asked gently. Nova didn't answer. Whatever it is, Lena said, you don't have to carry it alone. Nova turned, eyes glowing with quiet pain. They lied to me. All of them. Then don't fight for them, Lena whispered. Fight for us. Later that night, Nova made a decision. If the cleansing unit was coming, she had one chance to stop it. But she couldn't do it with just Earth's forces. She needed something more. She needed to go back. The next morning, she entered the alien cell again. What do you want now? The scout asked. Nova looked him in the eye. Your ship, your codes, your help. He blinked, surprised. Why would I help you? Nova stepped closer. Because if they destroy Earth, they'll come for you next. You're a loose end now. Just like me. The scout paused. Then slowly, he smiled. You've changed. Nova nodded. You have no idea. 2 hours later, Nova stood on the landing pad as the scout's stolen ship powered up. Ramirez met her there. You don't have to do this alone, he said. Nova looked back at the base, at the people, at Lena. I'm not alone, she said. I'm just going first. As the ship left the planet, heading straight into enemy territory, Nova sent one final message to Earth. They lied to all of us. About me, about you, about everything. But it doesn't matter anymore. Because I'm not their weapon. I'm humanity's answer. The invasion. The sky cracked open. Nova's ship burst through the clouds, tearing into the blackness of space. She sat in the pilot seat, silent, focused. Around her, systems hummed. Behind her, Earth slowly faded, small, fragile, and worth dying for. The stars ahead glowed red. The Zarkari fleet was near, and they weren't hiding anymore. Back on Earth, alarms screamed. Cities across the globe saw strange flashes in the sky. Satellites vanished. Communication lines dropped one by one. A power surge hit the moon base. Then came the sound no one wanted to hear, the scream of the sky. It wasn't thunder. It was the arrival of something enormous, the cleansing unit. A ship, the size of a mountain, covered in black metal. No windows, no lights. Just a deep pulsing sound like a heartbeat. People panicked. What is that? A child cried, pointing to the sky. No one had the answer, but Nova did. Inside the enemy ship, Nova moved like a ghost, silent, hidden. She wore human armor, but moved like Zarkari shadow squads, fast, invisible, efficient. The stolen codes got her through the first 2 layers, but the third? Trapped. Alarms rang. Steel doors slammed shut. Nova spun, gun ready. 3 Zarkari soldiers entered. One of them paused. Nova? He said, confused. Nova didn't wait. She fought like fire, every strike burning with purpose. They weren't just enemies. They were her past, her pain, her rejection. Seconds later, the hallway was quiet again. Nova stood over the last soldier, breathing hard, hands shaking. She hated this, but she wasn't doing it for hate. She was doing it for Earth. Meanwhile, chaos swallowed the planet. Cities burned. Giant Zarkari war machines descended like insects. Metal legs crushing buildings, scanning for life. Soldiers fought back, but they were outgunned. Energy blasts tore through airships. Shield generators collapsed. At the main command base, Ramirez barked orders. Focus on evacuation. Get the civilians out. Lena helped load children into transports. Where's Nova? She asked, voice cracking. No one answered. Not yet. Deep inside the cleansing unit, Nova found it. A core, glowing blue, pulsing like a living thing. This was the heart of the machine, the power source. If she destroyed it, the ship would fall. But something else caught her eye. A chamber, Inside it, a human, alive. Nova broke the glass. The man fell into her arms, weak, bruised. "Who are you?" she asked. He looked at her through one swollen eye. They've been experimenting, testing how humans react under stress. They want to understand what makes us fight so hard. Nova froze. They weren't just here to destroy Earth. They were studying it, afraid of it. "There are more of us," the man whispered, "in other chambers. Please, help them." Nova clenched her fists. This wasn't just an invasion. This was a warning shot. Her people were preparing for something bigger. Outside, Earth's forces were breaking. General O'Connor stared at the sky. "We have 10 minutes before the cleansing. Beam charges." He looked at the map. Only 20% of the population had been evacuated. "We're not going to make it," he whispered. Inside the alien ship, Nova made her choice. "I'm not here to fight you." She spoke into the ship's main intercom. "I'm here to remind you why you fear me." She placed both hands on the core and unleashed everything. Energy exploded. Alarms went wild. The ship shook. Systems failed. The stolen ship she'd come in with, still docked outside, began to overload. Nova ran, dragging the injured man with her. Explosions behind them. Smoke. Heat debris. She made it to the airlock. The ship's AI screamed, "Evacuation not safe." Core detonation in 30 seconds. Nova stared back at the core. "You erased me," she whispered. "Now I erase your fear." She activated the escape pod, threw the human inside, closed the door, stayed behind. From Earth, people looked up and saw it. Bright blue flash. The cleansing ship broke apart in midair. Giant pieces crashed into the ocean. Silence. Then, cheers across the world because they thought Nova had died, saving them. But she hadn't. Far away, in deep space, a second pod floated. Her fingers were bleeding. Her armor cracked, but she was alive, just barely. "Nova to Earth," she whispered, into the comlink. "Target neutralized, but they're not done. They'll send more. I need to go further. I need to find the truth." On Earth, the world mourned a hero. And in space, a secret weapon drifted into the stars alone again. But this time, by choice, because Nova had stopped running from her past and started chasing their future. Her kind, her war space had never felt so quiet. Nova drifted in darkness, inside a stolen escape pod. Her body was bruised, her mind was racing. Around her, stars blinked like distant memories, far, cold, and silent. Her pod systems were failing. No food, low oxygen, only one working engine. And yet, she didn't turn back. She was going home, not to return, but to end it. Earth had survived the first wave. Barely cities burned, oceans boiled, millions displaced. But the cleansing ship was destroyed and the people believed Nova had died saving them. They built statues. They whispered her name like a prayer. Nova, the girl who fought the stars. But up in the silence, the girl was still fighting. After 2 days of drifting, her pod neared the Zarkari home system. Her ship had no weapons, no backup, no map, just a memory. A hidden space gate, a secret route only high-rank officers knew, and she used to be one, before they erased her name. The gate opened with a soft hum. She passed through, and there it was. Zarkar Prime. Her home. Cold, sharp, beautiful. Dark, silver towers pierced the clouds. Machines flew silently between them. Everything was perfect. Controlled. Dead inside, just like they wanted, just like she wasn't. She landed quietly on the surface, hiding her pod in the lower levels of the city. It had been 10 years, and yet, nothing had changed. The streets were clean. People walked like shadows. No sound, no color, no smiles. They stared at her armor. Alien, human, but no one stopped her. They didn't recognize her. They had erased her too well. She entered the old training hall, the place where she had first been taught to kill without feeling. Memories hit her like waves. The punishments, the silence, the voice that always told her, "Emotion is a virus." That voice still echoed, but Nova was no longer a child. She hacked into the High Command's central core, deep under the surface. What she found there broke her. Hundreds of files, experiments, missions, secrets. But one stood out. Project Ember, the true plan behind the war, not to conquer, but to force humanity into a united global army. One government, one weapon. The war wasn't meant to destroy Earth, it was meant to scare it, because the Zarkari couldn't control humans. But maybe humans could be tricked into controlling themselves. Nova stepped back, eyes wide. "They're using the war to shape the enemy," she whispered. "They want humans to become like them." A voice echoed behind her. "You were always clever." She turned and froze. Her mother, tall, elegant, expressionless. "Not aged a day." "You're supposed to be dead," Nova said, voice tight. "We watched you survive. You were always stronger than the others," her mother replied. "You were the test, the bridge, the beginning of a new kind." Nova clenched her fists. "You wanted to use me as a blueprint." "Yes. But you ran." Nova stepped closer. "I didn't run. I felt. I chose. You never gave me a choice." Her mother's eyes stayed cold. "And now you've returned. Will you destroy us?" Nova looked at the files again. All the pain, all the lies. "No," she said. "I'm not here to destroy." "Then what?" Nova's voice was calm, deadly calm. "I'm here to expose you." She hacked into the core, triggered a system-wide broadcast. Across the galaxy, Zarkari citizens stopped moving. Every screen lit up, and Nova appeared. My name was erased, but not my voice. I was made by this empire, trained to kill, programmed to feel nothing. But then, I was thrown away, and I found something stronger than control. Choice. She played the files, the truth, the experiments, the war plans, the manipulation. Millions watched in silence. Nova ended with one sentence. "I choose to feel, and I choose to fight for those who can't. Not as your weapon, but as your reckoning." Sirens began. Ships launched. High Command declared Nova an enemy of the Empire, but it was too late. Her message had spread, and some had started to believe her. Nova escaped the city through underground tunnels. She had no plan, no army, but she had a spark now. Something Zarkari feared more than war. Hope. As she drifted away from Zarkari space, a small rebel message came through, encrypted, human and alien voices together. "Nova, we heard you. We're ready." Humanity's weapon, the stars were no longer silent. Across the galaxy, chaos had begun. Nova's message, the truth, had been heard not just on Zarkar Prime, but in the shadows of dying colonies, deep space trading posts, human resistance, cells, and even quiet corners of Zarkari society. One voice had broken through the fear, hers. And now, the galaxy was choosing sides. In a hidden asteroid base far from both human and Zarkari control, Nova stood in front of a group of mixed soldiers, humans, defected aliens, ex-scientists, rebels. Some looked at her with awe, some with fear. But all of them were ready. "This war isn't between races anymore," Nova said. "It's between truth and control." She stepped forward. "We won't win with numbers. We'll win with the one thing they can't understand. Why we fight." A silence followed. Then one by one heads nodded. "We're with you, Nova," said a young alien commander. Meanwhile, in Zarkar Prime's war chamber, Nova's mother stood before the High Command. "She has created a rebellion," one elder said, "even among our own. She's awakened something, Dangerous, another added. Emotion, Nova's mother remained still. Then we burn it out. With fire. A final attack plan was approved. Operation Silence. A direct strike on Earth. Full destruction. No survivors. Back at the rebel base, Nova received the signal. She stared at the data. They're coming for Earth again, Ramirez said, now leading. Human forces with Nova. Nova looked calm. Then this time, we don't wait. We meet them head on. Hours later, across open space, 2 fleets prepared for war. The Zarkari Armada. Cold, perfect, terrifying, and Nova's alliance, rough, unpolished, emotional. Nova stood on the bridge of her ship. Her new armor was upgraded. Zarkari tech, mixed with human design, powered by emotion, not fear. Are you ready? Lena's voice came through the comms. Nova smiled softly. This time, I'm not afraid to feel. The battle began like a storm. Fire tore across the stars. Ships exploded like dying suns. Fighters danced through wreckage. Every second, someone screamed, someone fell. Nova's ship pushed forward. She didn't fight like before. This wasn't rage. This was purpose. She protected, defended, saved. She was not their weapon. She was humanity's guardian. Then the flagship appeared. Zarkari's Deathbringer, a ship as large as a moon, powering up a planetary cannon meant to destroy Earth in one single beam. Nova knew what had to be done. I'm going in, she told Ramirez. You won't make it out, he warned. Nova closed her eyes. That's never stopped me before. She flew straight toward the flagship, dodging enemy fire. Her ship tore through their shields, skidding into the heart of the vessel. She jumped out mid-crash, armor glowing, eyes burning with purpose. The Zarkari soldiers saw her and hesitated, not out of confusion, out of fear. She fought her way to the core, the same design as the cleansing unit she had destroyed once before, but this time, someone waited for her, her mother. Alone. No guards. You always had the choice, her mother said. Then why take it from me, Nova asked. Because we feared what you'd become, she replied. And now, I see we were right. They fought, not just with weapons, but with words, with memories, with everything they had hidden for so long. In the end, Nova stood over her. I didn't come here to kill you, Nova said. I came to end what you started. She looked at the core. Seconds from firing, she removed her armor, pressed her hand against the glowing heart. The machine reacted. It recognized her DNA. But something was different now. Nova didn't fight it with violence. She fed it something else, emotion. The machine short-circuited. Her memories flowed into it. Pain, joy, confusion, laughter, loss. The machine couldn't process it. It collapsed from the inside. The flagship powered down. The beam faded. Earth was safe. Nova collapsed. Everything went black. Hours later, she woke up, soft lights above her. Quiet, beeping. She was in a rebel ship's medbay. Lena sat beside her, eyes full of tears. You stopped it, she whispered. Nova smiled weakly. No, we did. A broadcast went out days later. Nova's voice, one last time. I was born from silence, raised by fear, and shaped by war. But in the end, it wasn't strength that saved us. It was the thing they feared the most. Our humanity. On Earth, people rebuilt. On Zarkar Prime, statues fell. The galaxy changed. Not because Nova destroyed her enemies, but because she showed them another way. She was not a hero, not a soldier, not a weapon. She was a choice. The end. Or maybe just the beginning.